Our next session is focused on mitigating fire risk in electrical systems and EV ecosystem. As we move towards an electrified future with increasing reliance on electrical infrastructure and the rapid adoption of EVs, fire safety has become a critical concern. From grid stability to battery technology, charging infrastructure to electrical system design, each element presents today a unique fire risk that requires proactive strategies and robust safety measures. Today, I have the privilege of having Mr. Srinivas to lead the session as a moderator, and with him, I have the privilege of having panelists who I would want to invite onto the stage. Mr. Srinivas is the founder director of Synergy Infra Consultants, and he is also the national president of FSAI. With multitude years of experience in fire safety, risk management, and electrical system, Mr. Srinivas has become a recognized leader in the field of fire safety engineering. His expertise spans across industrial, commercial, and engineering his infrastructure projects, where he's played. To join Mr. Srinivas, I would want to invite the other panelists. Can I have Mr. Bridger John? He's the Managing Director and Principal, Tritech Engineering. Mr. Shosh Sumanam, Managing Director, Sumanam Engineering Services. Mr. N.V. Subbarao, Senior Advisor, Cholamandalam MS Risk Services. Mr. Venkatesu, AVP Electrical and IBMS at CRN Rao Consultants. Mr. Rajesh Agarwal, GM Electrical and Mechanical, Operation Maintenance Wing, DMRC. And Ms. Shruti Goyal, Director, Proviant Consultants. Over to you, Mr. Srinivas. Thank
you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Yeah, very good morning once again. Thank you. And this is, the electrical safety. Unfortunately, many of the places, we find most of the fire incidents are related to electrical related issues. This is what an established fact. And globally, probably 1/3 is due to electricity, 1/3 due to arson, 1/3 due to negligence. This is what they say. But in India, whether we accept it or not, almost 60% of the accidents are due to electricity. So understanding this the importance of this, even FSAI has now started a small group, electrical safety group, within FSAI to address these issues. How many of you other people are electrical engineers here? Oh, that's good. We request all of you to become part of this group because unfortunately, electrical safety is the one which is not addressed by any forum. So even though there are some associations related to the electrical consultants and other things, but we would like to look at the basics of electrical safety and probably propagate about the importance of this and then bring some kind of awareness with respect to electrical safety. So the panel, whoever is here, they're all part of the same group, electrical safety group. I'm happy about it. So we will start today's discussion because it's anyway known, mitigating fire risk, in electrical systems and EV ecosystems. Almost, 35 people die every day due to electrical related issues. That is what NCRB says. The National Crime Records Bureau says 35 people every day that die due to electrical systems. And today we see a lot of growth in the electrical systems, especially a lot of urbanization is happening, a lot of buildings are coming up, a lot of industrial growth is happening. And our per capita energy consumption, almost, during the last 10 years, it has become somewhere around 800 units to today around 1,200 units. Of course, we are much below the world average of 2,300 or 2,500 units. But still, we are growing. So if this is the kind of growth, along with this, the new technologies, new systems, new problems also are arising. So how do we address? Especially if we see today, electric mobility, EV mobility has become almost an important thing. And the government of India also is pushing a lot towards EV mobility. I don't know whether it is really sustainable or not. That's a different issue. But we are looking at a lot of taxation benefits and other things given by the government. And every apartment, every commercial building, we find today a lot of EV vehicles being parked in the basements. So keeping this in mind, so let us look at our panel, who are very eminent people here. There are consultants, there are So I'll start with, and also from the industry, I'll start with Mr. Venkatesh. So what do you say, about the electrical incidents and other things? Which are the reasons why it is happening? Can you just explain to our
Good morning, everyone.
audience? Yeah.
See, we are talking about technologies as on today. When the fire is occurred, then we have a lot of equipments to extinguish the fire. For example, smoke detector and the firefighting equipments. A lot of equipments are there. But no one talk about what is the causes of fire, how it can be extinguished in the part of the starting stage itself. So there are technologies today as on now available and to monitor they called the heat sensor, temperature sensor on the panel. That is the first point to start the fire. Even if you talk about shopping mall, as on now today most of the electrical rooms are lock-in condition. Nobody can monitor what is going on day to day within the electrical room. Nobody know that. Once fire started, then only people say that there is a fire in the electrical room. So since there are technologies already exist in the market, let us install all the key panels, sensors, temperature sensor, monitoring. They are called arc flash relays. These are the recent technologies come up in the market. So arc flash relay will cut off your power supply once the arc is started from the panel. So these are the technologies still available. Even I recommend instead of smoke detectors in the all electrical critical room, we will go with the early warning system. Before fire starts, at least they can give the alert to the people. So these are the technologies. I think wherever critical areas, I think we have to adopt these technologies so that the fire can kill within the starting stage itself.
Thank you, Venkateshu. I understand, the kind of technologies, whatever you have enumerated, mostly probably they understand, whether there is a fire incident or not. But what we would like to look at also is how to prevent the incident. So can I ask this question to Mr. Bijo? How do we, probably prevent the incidents without happening? Yeah.
Yeah. We are looking at the electrical, the reasons why the electrical fires occur, right? So there are multiple reasons, or rather, the stages where this the electrical fire happens, and it's actually, several reasons why this happens. There are reasons during the design stage, during the space planning stage, during the selection of the materials like cable sizing and all that, and of course, the upkeep and implementation. So if you look at the space planning, I think space is something at a premium for most of our projects where the buildings are involved, because we don't have much control on the spaces because the architect decides or the builder decides. So if you place equipments, electrical equipments at the wrong places, where there is no ventilation, where there is no, so this is one of the reasons. And secondly, the hardcore electrical decision itself, like sizing the breakers, sizing the cables correctly. These are also another very important factor. At the same time, when you implement or rather install, if the cables are not laid properly or it's not correctly rated, rather derated, depending on your area of installation, this is also another factor where temperatures can rise and thermal rundown can happen, which can again result in a fire. Also, when you add a new equipment or rather a new component into your system, so this can happen throughout the life of the project. So there are several reasons. Some of them are during the installation, some of them are during the upkeep. So these are some of the aspects that can result in an electrical fire and can cause damage now.
Okay, thank you. Sir, Subbarao Garu, so what we would like to ask you is, what are the safety practices that can bring electrical safety? And you have done a lot of audits, especially on the electrical safety side. So what are your observations? Where is the gap? I mean, whatever Mr. Bijo says, that probably certain issues at the time of design stage itself, and maybe certain issues related to the maintenance and operations. So where do you find the gaps?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Yes. We find, to be very frank, when we do, say, 100 audits, 70% of the time the issues are same.
70% of the time?
The issues are same.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, there are a lot of exceptions. So one main reason we are finding is the communication between different organs of the building. Means the architects, the consultants, HVEC, in one incident, in a data center, we found that the panel room came on the right side, the duct for the electrical cable came on the left. So they had no option but to take the cable from top.
Above the false ceiling.
Above the false ceiling. And a big argument whether it is safe or unsafe. Now, we were speechless to talk about it. So sometimes that kind of blind mistakes do happen. But apart from that, what I find is the design philosophy of electrical system is not clearly understood or articulated, or there is no documentation available for the running guys. So sometimes, so they have to live with whatever they inherit, and then they continue to do that. So I attribute to three things in this. One is the knowledge level of the people who are running the plants on the electrical safety. What is the minimum that needs to be done? Yes, minimum is done, but then how do we understand failure? Because the failures keep on happening. It's not that system breaks down instantly. No, it will give you a lot of telltale signs, and we are not understanding those signs. So the biggest advantage of electrical system is you get a lot of data, but we are not analyzing that data at all. I have not seen any small industry or big industry going deep into the data of their electrical system and say, oh, okay, this is a likely failure that can happen. Then you also find when they have to do some compromising with respect to space and other things, the biggest casualty is electrical panel or the rooms. So you don't find much space is given as per the statutes and other things. So those the second thing. The third thing is that, like for example, you take simple thing like lightning protection or surge protection. Lightning doesn't occur every day. So when it occurs also, it's a probability wise that you are getting struck is also less. So you may not realize for many years that your lightning protection is not at all functional, or whatever that has been given to you is not as per any standard. So once you are struck, then you will scramble around to see why this has happened to me. And then you will start blaming everyone. So it's a combination of many things which is leading to repeated incidents. As you say, 60%. Yeah, it can be more also, but then there is no scientific investigation. When you don't find any cause, you simply blame it on electrical. Yes. I've never seen someone saying that.
Yeah, yesterday one gentleman was telling, whenever there is a fire, blame it on wire.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the thing. And also, the last point I want to touch upon is the workmanship of the people who are currently there. Say, for example, simple thing like bending radius of a cable. Based on the size, you have a bending radius which is specified. But then you are only seeing whether it is getting the power or not. We are not seeing what is inside. And slowly and steadily, it becomes a hotspot. And then with respect to vibration and other things, then slowly, it can lead to a thing. So combination of many things is leading to zero improvement in electrical safety. I want to make that statement. Because we are not seeing any improvement in any place, for whatever reason.
Improvement in?
Improvement in electrical safety in any place.
Oh.
Yeah.
Even after the audits, people, you mean to say they don't take further improvements?
Yeah, because even if they don't do anything also, nothing happens, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so when you will wait for the breakdown and then you will say, okay, I need to do something. So we need to challenge this. That is the reason why we are saying that there should be focus. So the government regulation that there should be a chartered electrical safety engineer is also has become a paper tiger. You don't find real electrical safety guys. So many things are happening in that field. Yes.
Right. Thank you, sir. Sir, Mr. Rajesh, I wanted to ask you, he talked about, the issue of maybe during the designs or maintenance and other things. So who is to be blamed for that? During the design, it is because of the cost. The clients, they wanted to cut down on cost, or I think Shruti also agree with me. A lot of peer review consultants always pull us down, don't do this, don't do that, cost can be cut down. Or otherwise, maintenance people, it's because of lack of knowledge on their side. Because we find there's a lack of awareness in every area. Or, with respect to the maintenance of the practices of the organization. What do you think? I'm sure your metro rails and all will not have this kind of problems, I think so. But how do you manage that also?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I understand that your main question is who is to be blamed for the safety?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll answer that, but before that, I'd like to say that I'm working in Delhi Metro for last 15 years, and I have seen the implementation of systems and procedures in very detail. I have been involved in preparation of most of the safety standards, and I'm responsible for following most of the existing standards. And the second thing which I'd like to say that there are 4 important pillars of Delhi Metro. The first is punctuality, as you all know. The second is integrity and social responsibility. But the first pillar is safety. So safety is always the first priority. And we have got a dedicated training center at our premises. And at the entry of that training center, we have got a big mirror. That big mirror has got a question written on it: who is responsible for the safety? So whenever you look at inside the mirror, you get the answer that who is actually responsible for the safety. In fact, it's the responsibility of each one of us to ensure that the systems are well in place and they are followed. Now, as regard your questions that who is to be blamed, means is the lack of funds are responsible? Well, I understand that this may not be true because first of all, the owner who is putting the money, if he is committed towards the cause of the safety, then definitely the budget is not an issue. So it is the responsibility of the designer to put forward the requirement and to make it very clear that whatever the systems are required, they are required. So to my mind, the scarcity of the fund is definitely not an issue. Means you have to manage whatever is available. And second thing, the maintenance personnel. Yes, actually, the maintenance, to my mind, starts well before the systems are started operations. Then the people who are responsible for maintenance, they need to be well aware that what is the system is required. Means like the technological part of it, the operational part of it, and also the requirement of training the persons who are responsible for operation and maintenance of the system. Then we need to put the proper system for daily checks, weekly checks, and mock drills and all. So maintenance definitely have a very, very important role to play in ensuring the final safety. And then lastly, you said about the worker. To answer that thing, I'll say that in Delhi Metro, if this is a first lapse, then probably it may be the worker's responsibility. But with each repetition, the level of responsibility rises to the next level. So if the incidence is repeated, then probably that worker is not responsible, the supervisor is to be blamed. So it is the responsibility of each one of them.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for, you put it very nicely, all these things. So definitely, I think nobody is interested in this kind of mishaps. But unfortunately, of course, you are talking about SOPs and other things being followed by Delhi Metro, but maybe many of the organizations do not have this kind of practices. I think that is where the issues also will crop up. Madam, you are part of NBC, so we would like to know, understand.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, what are the new things that can look at it in the codes, or maybe maybe earlier NEC or safety guidelines, which are now enumerated with respect to at least the electrical safety part of it, related to the safety.
So,
what kind of new guidelines, new regulations, what we can?
Srinivasa, our problem is the codes are not followed properly. You can see that codes are written, they are not mandatory codes. They are just guidelines. So most of the people say that whatever is written is useless, we'll follow our own mind, instead of contributing to the code. That's why I was saying that National Building Code is under revision. Please contribute to it. People keep on coming up later and saying that, okay, this code does not work properly, it does not specify, or it over-specifies. So why it is, like to my understanding, building code just gives you a guideline on spaces, like what, I'm forgetting the name, Cholamandalam sir Shubha sir said that the shaft was somewhere else and the panel was somewhere else. Now, this is not the requirement of code. We can't spoon feed. Nobody can spoon feed the client as to which panel or shaft has to be where. The code specifies that the safe path should be provided. If the cable is running in the ceiling of the data center, I don't know how safe it is. But you can provide safety is what the solution we should look at. But National Building Code typically, like when I was drafting the electrical part, my intention was that we should have the substations, the DG sets, the panels at locations which are accessible to the firemen or to the safety guys when there is a fire. First thing what we normally understand is that the firemen will go and switch off the safety panel. It's not to be switched off. We have to understand which panels are not essential and which are essential. So basic understanding of that scope should be clear. It should not be that you have to only go at negative spaces to locate the substation or the DG sets or the panels. The perception, the attitude of the clients, of the consultants, of the architects have to change.
I understand. I think even
accessible.
The safety guidelines talk about having electrical systems above FTL level. That is one of the guidelines. But I don't know, I mean, which
Sir, tell me one
project it is
thing.
being
If
followed.
you have, suppose, in one project, 6 basements, why restrict the panel and the substation only to B1? When 2016 was drafted, we never used to have basements more than 2 or 3. And there were a lot of places where you were to add up the height required for the substation, you were actually digging a ditch. Specifically in projects where you have single basement. You have single basement, say about 4.2 meters. But for electrical room, substation, you need 4 meters. What will you do? You will not go up, you will go down.
Not 4 meters, ma'am. If you have dry type transformers, unfortunately, our
Sir,
NEC say...
dry type or oil, the water will fill in that area the first.
That is one thing, and I have seen in NEC, they wanted 3.5 meters clearance above the height of the dry type transformer. For an indoor, I don't know whether you are aware of it or not.
Sir,
we are ending up with huge spaces because
Sheena's, sir, what will happen? People will give you 3.5 during approval. After that, they'll put a slab and use that space. That even becomes more unsafe.
So you mean to say the more than the codes, it's the implementation and then enforcement is one thing which is highly essential.
Sir, also the perception. And there are a lot of consultants who require 6 by 6 but will ask 8 by 8. What will happen? The client may provide it. May. What will they do of that extra 2 meters? They'll use that as storage within the room. How safe is that room then?
Yeah.
So code should actually specify, don't provide more than so much clearance also. Not only this much is required, but please provide within a meter, 1.5 meter, not more than that.
Okay.
Because the minute you provide more, then also there is a challenge.
Thank you. We'll come back to you again
Yes,
on
sir.
this. Probably, this is a subject which will never stop. There will be a lot of arguments on this thing, and especially when it comes to a lot of violations and enforcement issues, and everybody is taking their own liberty in designing their own way. I fully
Sir,
agree.
another thing,
But this
now
is what we
people
have
are
to change.
also talking about substations, DG sets on the terrace level.
No, that is not possible. I don't think any code
Sir,
will talk.
it
See,
has
the
been
transformers, yes,
implemented
but
in
not DG
lot of
sets. I don't
places.
think.
In Tamil Nadu, it's getting implemented.
I'm not sure, but that is not supposed
in
to.
other countries, it is provided.
DG
I have
sets.
visited a data center
DG
in
sets.
Italy.
DG set.
DG set, yeah, 2000 kVA, 5 numbers kept on the 12th floor of a data center. And there, 1000 year,
Chillers.
chillers are also there.
No, chillers okay. I
No, but,
mean,
sir,
it's a different
Sir,
issue.
how will you
Chillers we'll
switch
have,
off?
but we cannot
Sir,
have
I
the
want to ask you, how will you
diesel
switch off those DGs in case there is a fire?
You should have remote facilities.
Sir, you should be, your maintenance team should be strong enough to handle that kind of thing. You should have a design optimization that
And
the
also the
DGs
fuel being
should be
handled,
switched
you know,
off
See,
from the
now,
ground.
why this BMS and all is provided?
Sir, BMS is not
Building,
essential
and
service.
It should
This
be
is a good
implemented on
argument.
that.
So I'll enjoy this for some time. Let us enjoy what they talk. Yeah, please go ahead. I'm okay for another 5 minutes.
Sir, I just want to highlight one point. So, Madam, talk about I think you also talk about the substation level, DG level and all. After the heavy flood in Chennai, Chennai Metropolitan Authority, CMDA, we call it MMDA, given the notice to the complete owners.
So have they removed all the things from basement?
We are providing, basement is not allowed. Now we are doing 900 mm from the road level. So all the transformers, even RMG unit, everything we are elevated from the
So
ground
what is, you say, I mean, whatever she is talking about, DG
Sir,
sets and
I
all,
would,
put it on the higher
like
floors?
to state
Is it
one
allowed
thing.
here?
It is not in the terrace level. To some extent, we are elevated from the 2 levels. They are giving the approvals.
Sir,
As
I
long
will
as you
state something about
No,
this
because there
property.
is no guideline as such. The NBC
Sir,
says very clearly not to be done, but I don't know.
Srinivas sir, just one line. This property was not submerged under water when there was a problem, when the entire Chennai was underwater. So your design, everybody's cumulative design should be such that your system is not flooded.
Yeah.
It need not be 900 mm above.
No, it should be above the FTL. That's what I mean the courts say, but nowhere it is being followed anyway. Sir, I'll come back to you with a different subject altogether from this. The EVs, which is a buzzword today, right? And this is going to increase our demand like anything.
Srinivas sir, I want to add one small twist to the
Yes,
whole
sir.
thing.
Please.
Yeah? We are
You want to
talking
add some more fuel to the fire? Please.
No, we are recently involved in design of one data center, not in India. So the data center was designed, everything was done in place. Then the government of that country said, you have to use not diesel, alternate fuel. What is the alternate fuel? They suggested hydrogen.
Good. So they should have liquid hydrogen tanks, which will be highly more dangerous than this.
So imagine now we have a substation, then we have a hydrogen storage, then you have a power generation using hydrogen, and you have to ensure that your QRA results, in the sense QRA should be done, risk assessment, and you have to put controls in place. It's not going to be far off in our country also. You will have alternate things, alternate fuels coming into the picture.
So they can be allowed any place, is it? Anywhere?
No, they cannot be allowed,
So
but
that
then...
is the only question we are talking about.
No, but that kind of situations are going to come. So the electrical system should be so robust that imagine now you have hydrogen within the vicinity. 2A, 2B also won't be sufficient for flame-proof protection. You need to have 2C now. So those
Group
kind of
2C
things
has
are
to be
coming.
used in case of hydrogens.
Sir,
Only group
but are
2C
you
things.
doing proper compartmentation of all those equipments?
Yes, ma'am. That is one of the biggest challenges.
Yes, because that is one thing without which survivability will be...
No, compartmentation for what?
Sir, fire compartment for that liquid hydrogen and everything.
For?
Liquid hydrogen compartmentation.
No, that is a different thing. We handle a lot of liquid nitrogen in ISRO. We have a lot of experience on that, especially cryogenics and other things. Sir, I will come back to you with respect to the EVs. Mr. Shah's ji.
Okay.
Something you want to say in this?
I just wanted to add something else to, the same topic. In Europe, many countries are dependent on gas. You can see the Russian gas, so they have piped gas. They don't store anything there. So the risk of fire in European countries from the generators, from the storage is much less. Because we don't have such kind of a robust system
Yeah.
of
We don't
fuel
have that
piping.
kind of
because
things.
they use gas for even the room heatings also. So that makes sense for them. It may not work for our country. That's one thing.
Sir, I wanted to go
Yeah.
to before, because Mr. Shah, Subramji has to be addressed one thing. With respect to EV, sir, there is a lot of, proliferation of EV vehicles like anything. And a lot of people have started using them, in basements or wherever it is.
Yeah,
So what about the safety issues related to that? See, there is an IS 17017 and then there is CA safety guidelines also exclusively for EV things and other things. These are all being followed. But other than that, how do our electrical systems, especially in existing buildings where there will be heavy demand, how we can address these kind of issues?
See,
And what
actually-
precautions they need to take?
Actually, department is not involving in those things. The
Department means electrical inspectors or government supply authorities.
Both this.
They are not involved.
They are not involved. They should be involved.
So no enforcement at all from any side,
Yeah,
first
yeah.
thing, yeah.
See, now the total EVs available in India, say total you take something like 20% of 25% only.
No,
But-
20 also we don't have, we have very less
No,
percent.
but
We may
as
achieve
per
passenger vehicles by 20-30%
study,
by 2030.
as per the study I have read somewhere, it will be crossing 55% in 2030. But
That will be transportation. Yeah.
But the reputed car manufacturers, if they with this charger installation, it goes tandem. They will not install the charger unless the main system is capable of taking that capacity. And they insist for the higher cable, that is minimum 10 square mm cable.
Okay.
For this thing. And also they say use copper. But everywhere this is not being done. All others are, they say if they are not giving, I can do it. Somebody will come and do it. But it should be a standard which should be approved by either electrical inspectorate or a board.
No, but now, in Telangana, we have sensitized our electrical inspector and he started looking at all these things and started giving approvals only based on that. We said very clearly, nobody should use chargers without, we are starting, sending that message to every community also as well. Yeah. So this is one thing which we need to, because we can't leave it like that. Madam, I just want to ask you one thing. Is there anything addressed in the new National Building Code about this
Sir,
EV chargers and their
There'll
safety
be a
issues?
separate section for EV chargers.
It's there already,
It is proposed, I have to write
but
it.
not there in the draft as of now. Okay.
So you
But-
have to help us write it.
Yeah, definitely we'll do that. But
But,
that is very
there
important
was a-
because let me tell you,
Sir, there was
this
a
is,
discussion
in the-
between fire team and electrical team for BIS for formulating that particular part. So we are deliberating about
problem is-
having a separate transformer and a separate compartment for EV chargers so that the type of cars can be segregated.
no,
and
even we have different opinions on that even in the
Yes.
fire, because even if you make a separate compartment, all cars cannot be at one place. The fire loading probably may increase. They should be distributed. There are different, because I'll tell you, there are a lot of deliberations that are going on. I think, but only thing is with respect to what my request is, with respect to the CES safety guidelines, whatever have been issued, maybe that is for EV charging stations, not for, the home charging kind of thing. Or otherwise, the IS 17017 requirements and other things, if at least they are introduced into that, and people will at least look at, the EVSC, electric vehicle supply equipment, as a minimum requirement whenever they have a vehicle. At least that can be
Definitely.
enforced.
And we should also stop promoting those 16 ampere chargers which are put by the developers.
16 amps,
No,
that's what
that's
I'm
not
telling you.
sufficient. That is not
17017 has
sufficient.
barred all those things.
Yeah.
So it has
Yes.
got only a 7-pin type 2 plug.
Yes,
as
it should
per-
be specific from the charger.
Yeah. It's
Which
all,
comes with the cars as of present. And it has certain safety norms also inbuilt into it.
That's what,
No,
the
please,
type 2 charging,
include those in the code.
17017.
Sir?
for the-
In the code, don't give gap ifs. In all codes, the ifs are given.
Yes.
One
so
example
we-
I'll tell you that you have to take care of in this code. Generators cannot be kept above floors.
Yeah.
But after that, a sentence is there, proper safety of people and equipment shall be taken care of. Why?
So one thing, sir, what she is requesting, draft code is in circulation. Why don't you give comments? We'll be happy for
Yes.
that.
No, but we are not intimated.
No, it's there.
No, sir.
No,
you
if
can, you
we'll
can
definitely
send in your
circulate that in our
comments.
group, sir. We'll circulate all those things in our group. But I
Yes.
just wanted to tell you one thing, with respect to the EVSC, whatever specified by the IS 17017, you are supposed to have earth continuity, leakage protection, overcurrent and short circuit. These are the minimum protections and energy metering. With that, the authentication. So all these things are part of EVSC 17017. You are supposed to use only type 2 chargers with 7-pin plug. So this is also mentioned very clearly. So let us, at least incorporate that into our code to
Sir,
some extent.
another thing
and the
which-
kind of earthing and other things.
Sir,
and also only CEA safety guidelines, they talked about, sorry, I am just telling, whatever, the smoke detectors also have been specified. But the only issue is if you use them in basements, we need to see how they perform. So that is the only thing.
Sir,
So this is my request, yeah.
Yes, another thing is that each type of car requires a different type of charger. So we should use what comes with the car, not what
required.
we, as a
See,
developer.
I'll tell you, the chargers are supposed to be certified by ARAI as per 17017. Anything certified by ARAI can be used as per 17017. And the thing is, whatever different cars, you are right, different cars have got different ratings of chargers. But I'll tell you what my experience in Telangana again, we brought out certain safety guidelines considering all these things. We allowed only 7.4 kilowatt maximum within the basements, nothing beyond that. Fast chargers are not allowed because, that will immediately probably give rise to some kind of issue. So we have brought out some of those guidelines. We can also probably share with you, then we can see on that.
Sir, I have 2 points because I'm an electric vehicle user.
Yeah.
Okay. So while the supplier gives you, or the car manufacturer gives you a wall-mounted charger, the latest guideline from them is, don't always charge through that. You alternately charge with the 3-pin plug.
No.
Yeah, that's what the thing that now they have.
The problem is they are not aware of the requirements.
Yeah.
That
So-
is, see, this is where, the electrical safety group has to work towards that.
So,
I'll tell you.
So
even-
what is happening is that I have seen, now you take a tapping and you go for a PVC box, and this is 4-meter length cable only. That
5
is
meters
there.
max. 5 meters max.
So what happens in India, we don't park the vehicles this way, we park the vehicles on the exit way. So all of them, I have seen at least on 5
Extension
occasions,
boxes. Don't tell
extension
me
boxes
extension
are
boxes.
extensively being used. Extension boxes are extensively being used and causing more danger now. So we need to. But I think the main problems are, cars are somewhat regulated. The main problem is two-wheeler.
Exactly. I'll come to that. Two-wheelers are banned even in our Telangana guidelines. They should not be allowed into any other places, into the basements and all. They have to be parked only outside. Because the other problem is with two-wheelers, the small battery. Any refurbished battery they can use, the cost cutting and other things. So then it will lead to a lot of issues. But today, if I look at the kind of, vehicles what we are getting, especially ARAI, is doing a lot of, they have brought out a lot of guidelines for the battery safety, and they're also auditing every battery manufacturing unit once in a month to make sure that the quality standards are maintained. We are not supposed to import batteries and use them in EVs. That is totally eliminated. I'm sure, I think it will become a good safety practice. And why I'm telling extension boxes, I think this is where we need to do a lot of safety awareness, especially we can start with that. Whatever the type 2 charger, it will also have a pilot pin where it gives the communication from the charger to the EVSC, so that it will understand whether it can start charging or not. If you look at NFPA, they also recommend not to start a charging immediately after the vehicle is traveled. You have to give some time so that it cools down and then start charging. This is also another requirement. But this is what, unless you have pilot pin continuity, you will not be able to do any of those things. And it may not work also in certain vehicles. That is also there. Certain vehicles it will not accept if you put a direct plug-in. So we will be running short of time. So I would like to ask about EVs. Another thing, they say, sir, you mentioned about electrical safety chartered engineer also, Subbarogan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what is to be done to implement that? See, unfortunately, we don't have proper, we have electrical inspectors. I'm sure everybody will accept. But the problem is
Number.
empowerment and enforcement, because lack of even staff from their side. So unless they, so what can be done? What is our?
Yeah. So my strong feeling is that, like, how was fire safety or safety engineering some 25 years back? Not many institutions were offering any courses, right? So we must collaborate with some colleges and start offering electrical safety engineering specialization, sir. Because if you see the certified chartered electrical safety engineer, the requirement is 5 years of experience. Maintenance is preferred, and degree or diploma kind of thing.
They have not specified.
They have specified. Now,
okay.
Tamil Nadu, 24 October, they
have
released
notified,
it.
is it?
They have notified also.
Okay.
So what is happening is that we need to collaborate and then bring some institutions on board so that there is a widespread publicity in this. So
Okay.
that's what needs to be done.
Right. I just would like to ask Sir Sumanamji. See, we find a lot of incidents due to electricity. That's what everybody, a lot of fire incidents also. But unfortunately, fire departments, they don't look at any of these things. And the electrical departments, we have just now discussed, they are not having any manpower. How do we probably bring this also as an electrical safety chartered engineer? Is there is a mechanism where they can be under the disaster management? Because disaster management is a part of fire safety and disaster together.
See,
will it be helpful, and how we can do that?
Actually, there are a lot of trained engineers in every state who are the supervisor, they call supervisor, with the such and such grade and all. Entrust this job to them and make them accountable for any of these fire or anything. So yearly or half yearly study of the system and inspection of the system should be done by them. And they should certify it, not the inspectorate. If anything comes, you fix him. Then these hanky-panky jobs will not happen.
Right.
So the responsibility should be all these supervisors.
Yeah.
And government is to only oversee how they are performing. If anything goes wrong, that is, and there should be, now you know, a lot of hundreds of licenses are there for the supervisory, and limited to so many consumers should have, like chartered accountants have a limited number of consumers or something like that. Limit that so that they know what is happening in each places. Yes. And they will see that if anything happens, he will be caught. If that system comes, everything will come on. No influence, nothing will go. It's a private man's. Every year he has to renew the license.
Yeah, that's what, I mean, they have to probably involve the, you know, the trained people to be empaneled and then take it up as an audit.
Yeah.
So, but there is no electrical safety audits recommended by any of the, sir, Mr. Bijo? Not recommended by the CE or anyone?
No, they are not recommended. That's why I'm telling.
Is there any, I mean, time period which we need to look at for doing an electrical safety audit? Because electrical inspectors are supposed to come and verify once in a year. Probably that is the same thing to be followed, or
No.
better than
See,
that?
electrical inspectorate guys are fresh engineers recruited in electricity in this inspectorate. They don't have any experience of the installations. Over a period, they say they are experienced. Where I used to get this unexperienced is in the deputy chief level for 110 kV substation and all those things. 110 kV, they have no experience.
Right.
But still they say that this is not there, this is not there. So some training, either some training or take people with field experience for inspectorate, not the fresh graduates.
Right. Sir, Mr. Rajesh, sir, you also use a lot of batteries and other things in your installations, right? I think, so how the safety and other things of those things are taken care of?
Batteries, we use batteries inside the workstations for the UPS purpose, but we have been using for about 20 years or so, so those batteries are not an issue. The issues are the EV charging, which we have come across about 120 stations or so. But the good thing is they are situated well outside. In the parking only, outside the parking.
So that is an advantage for you, right?
That is the main advantage.
Okay.
And but we follow all the standards which we have just spoken about.
Right.
There have been some incidences in past 2-3 years, but the measure was due to the space constraint only. Means wherever the density was there, there was some fire case, and which is sparked fire in the other cases also. But we do a regular checks, and that is only the key to have a safe system.
Okay, thank you. So everyone can say in, maybe 30 seconds, what is the most important thing we need to take care? Everybody's opinion. Out of all these discussions, where we have to focus?
I have one suggestion.
Yeah.
You asked about what people should do. I feel thermography is something which should be made mandatory,
Okay.
which can be done annually. And now you have attachments even for
It will
iPhone.
be a preventive maintenance
Yes,
kind of
you know the
step.
hotspots.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you can
So
prevent
you take
something.
it as preventive. Then I can ask Mr. Bijou, what do you say?
Yeah, I also have one more session, sir.
One-
All of you are working in industry. She talked about when I go to the panels, which one to switch off. The good thing is that because all panels will be same color, right? We don't know and we can't read. The panel which you need to touch and switch off should be in red color. Yeah, so that is the simplest thing that one can start following.
Sir, there is an incomer to it also from another panel. So my main LT panel should be color coded. And whatever is not to be switched off should be in a particular color. Don't switch off. Normally, red we say stop. So we should use red colored panel compartments which are not to be switched off.
So anyway, you can incorporate into the code whatever it is, then we'll try to follow that. Sorry, yeah, Venkatesh.
Yeah.
So,
Sir, but everyone's input is definitely welcomed.
So there are some inputs which you can take it up as it is.
And we can recommend BIS to include their names as well. It's not
Sure.
that it has to be like without the names.
Right.
Not necessary.
Thank
See,
you. So what is that you want to say? Yeah.
no,
that's right.
so according to the NBC, in case of, there is called cross-zoning matrix. We provide part of the design stage, okay? So NBC said only the tripping on lifts, cutting air curtains, all that there. There are a couple of MNC clients. We also done for the cross-zoning with the auto trip-up in the main panels. Other than critical feeders, we can do the auto tripping using the cross-zoning of detectors. So we have a couple of projects, we done it. So NBC does not say that, that's not, as on today it is talk about lift landing in the ground level, HU tripping, cylinder tripping, ventilation fan switch off. These are the sequence we given, no? I think we can add part of that, this is also part of the automated systems.
Okay, right, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, my point, I just want to highlight one single point. If you want to, design or what you call, install a system, you should always look at the cost of ownership, which includes the cost of life, cost of the, the building efficiency. So our focus on any engineering should be, I'm talking about especially the electrical systems, you should be looking at the entire cost of ownership for a specific year. So you will definitely be forced to, buy the best product, design properly, and so that you have a reliable and safe system.
Right.
Looking at the cost of ownership.
Thank you, Bijay. Rajesh sir, what do you want to say?
Yeah,
One
actually,
point.
one point is
Only 1 point I want. What is the highest thing which we need to focus?
the failure should not be allowed to repeat it.
Sorry?
Failure should never be allowed to be repeated.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you. Sir, what do you want to say, Mr. Sumanamji? Which is the most important thing where we need to focus from the electrical side?
The focus is to be connected before charging any system, the reliability and its correctness. And
Okay.
some method should be adopted that nothing shall be added in a system.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Madam, you want to say 1 point?
I think we should all do our job nicely and look at some redundancy in the system for future expansions.
Okay.
We should not just focus on this is to be provided, I'll only calculate on this.
Thank you.
There should be some addition somewhere.
Thank you, sir. You want to say something? Now our panel discussion is complete. Any questions from the audience?
Hello.
Yeah.
In a fire alarm system, there is a input devices and output devices. In a fire alarm, we call it as a low voltage. We never talk about the over current. All input devices are ultra low current only it takes. In output devices like sounders, electromechanical devices, all these things, many places when I did audit, I have observed one thing. Load is more than 15 amps. And they used 1.5 square mm, and there is no fuse, no electrical supervision, nothing is there. And I have seen out of 10 audit, 9 audit, this is the observation I have made.
Thank you.
And who will take this responsibility as a auditor, electrical or fire alarm people?
See, the code can say what should be the minimum size of current carrying capacity of a wire. But beyond
Sir,
that, whoever
I
is the
think
designer
this
has
should
to
be
take it.
the cumulative responsibility of the contractor, the client, and the consultant. Because
you.
if the client, whoever has specified it wrong, is responsible.
Any
and
other
who has
questions,
also
please?
approved
MEP
it
design
is wrong.
consultant only they are doing it. MEP, MEPF now.
MEPF
F.
design
Sir,
consultant.
it is not always the consultant.
So electrical consultant is designing fire alarm system, but he doesn't do proper engineering on current side.
We will discuss on that. Sir. Any more questions, please, from the audience? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. Yeah, somebody? Yeah, right. Giri. Somebody can give a mic to him?
Hi, good afternoon. This is regarding to the EV related thing actually. As per the new
Mic, close to you.
as per the new requirements actually posed by the green building consultants actually, off late actually, they are only asking for actually 15 amps sockets.
No, that is changed.
Huh.
Sir, that
Green
is
building
changed.
requirements have been changed to type 2 plug now.
But till-
EVSCs. They are specifying, asking for EVSCs.
So there has to be a clear-cut guideline actually to what extent actually of the kilowatt actually, till which basement actually, or something has to be very clear actually, because there are so many things.
So we
actually-
will address this issue in IGBC conference. Ravi.
Acha, IGBC. Okay.
I'll definitely take this
Because,
point with them,
because
but we will not
CAG
be able
says
to answer on their behalf.
Electrical inspectorate says something, actually NBC says something, so many. We have to have something
No,
very
no,
clear.
she said, there is going to be a separate section coming out in NBC. Definitely it is high time. We need to bring out that. By the time, another 6 months, there will be plenty of vehicles on road.
So as
we
part
need to
of
bring out that.
NBC committee, CEA people are also a part of the committee.
No, actually, my
they
request is
will
actually-
they have also come out with a circular that NEC and NBC has to be followed for all electrical installations. So whatever comes as part of NBC will
So
become
that will be part of
mandatory
CEA guidelines.
from
Yes.
CEA guidelines.
That's true.
Yeah, my other request is actually this draft actually to be circulated to all other.
Draft will be
Draft is
circulated.
all-
Right now it's in closed circulation.
The
It will come out.
electrical code is already under circulation, but this particular chapter, I think it is not there as a part of it.
There will be a separate white circulation which will be coming up, which will cover all the chapters.
Yeah, that is yet
because
to come
actually
out.
there can be some other good points actually from the other senior electrical engineers actually who may not be attending
Mike,
these
You
Mike,
type of
just pick
please.
up your mic. I'm
Yeah,
not able to-
who may not be attending these type of seminars actually. There are very good actually capable engineers actually who can certainly suggest actually some valuable points actually. And like sir was telling actually, we will remove actually this if and buts actually in the code.
Let us,
So,
you please, the draft is
there
there.
are no
please
ifs
recommend
and
that
buts in the code. It's only in discussions we talk about ifs and buts.
Not
Code
if and
only
buts, gaps.
specifies.
Gaps are there.
Yeah.
Gaps, you need to give
Yeah,
us an
sir,
insight on the
one
gaps.
thing,
It has to be brought on the
let us
table.
understand that we all need to give our that inputs because it's our own code.
Yeah.
Wherever we find issues,
Yes.
let us try to improvise that. Okay, thank you, Giri.
And
So we
sir,
will wrap it
another
up
thing
because of the
I'd like
time.
to say, there is no invitation to participate. It is our country code.
Correct.
We
Thank
should
you.
all take the onus of contributing.
Contributing and implementation also.
Yes.
Because once you have agreed, you have to implement it.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, all the panelists. And we are running out of time.
Thank you, Mr. Srinivas and the panelists.
Every electrical engineer, please join this group of electrical safety group of FSAI. And we would like to bring out. So every electrical engineer, please become part of electrical safety group of FSAI. We are also planning to bring out an electrical safety manual, which should be a good guidance for every person, every working professional in the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Srinivas and the panelists.